Good evening, guys. Today is our second session for Spring Boot and microservices. Yesterday, we had the discussion related to what are the prerequisites to attend the Spring Boot and microservices and what is our course content. So as part of this Spring Boot and microservices, we are going to learn the Spring basics also, Spring Core, Spring JDBC. Then we'll start with Boot, JPA, WebMVC, REST API development, Spring Cloud, microservices, security, and Apache Kafka, Redis Cache, Docker, unit testing, and logging. And I explained course details also. If anybody attending the class for first time, you can download detailed course content document from our website. I'm giving the link in the chat box. What all the topics we are going to cover as part of this course clearly mentioned in the syllabus document. You can download that. Fine. Then we have started our discussion related to what is programming language and what is technology and what is framework. So quickly, can we revise what we learned in the last session? Yes. So what is a programming language, guys? Language contains a set of syntaxes to develop standalone applications. Now, Java is called as a programming language which contains some fundamental concepts like OOPs, collections, exception handling, multi-threading, file handling. Some concepts are available in the Java. By using those concepts, we can develop standalone application. What is the meaning of standalone application? The application which runs only in one computer. Any application which runs only in one computer, that application is called as a standalone application. Fine. Later, by using this Java language, Sun Microsystem developed some technologies to simplify application development. Initially, Java language came into market. After Java came into market, the demand increased for Java. People started using Java. Then Sun Microsystem thought that why we need to develop only standalone? Why can't we develop a web application by using Java? Then they came up with servlets and JSP. What we can do by using servlets and JSP? By using servlets and JSP, we can develop web application. As part of application development, we want to communicate with the database also. To communicate with the database, Sun Microsystem provided JDBC. This JDBC, servlets, JSP developed by using Java only. So Java is a programming language. By using that programming language, Sun Microsystem developed some technologies. JDBC is one technology to communicate with the database by using Java program. Servlets is one technology to develop web applications by using Java. JSP is also one technology to develop presentation logic in the web application. So initially, lot of demand was there for this JDBC, servlets and JSP to develop web applications. Going forward, people realized that everybody writing the same piece of code in every project. That means whatever the code I am writing in my project, same code you are writing in your project also. That became duplicate code. Some industry experts identified that we are working on the projects, we are writing the same code again and again. Why can't we develop a framework which will provide common logics required for several projects? That's where frameworks came into picture, right? What is a framework? Why we need to go for framework? What is a framework and why we need to go for a framework? Framework is a semi-developed software. Framework is a semi-developed software. We can also call framework is a ready-made software. So we all are assume that there are 10 people available working on 10 different projects. In the 10 projects, database connections are common, connection pooling is common, form validations are common, capturing the form data is common, binding the form data to Java object is common. 10 developers working on the 10 different projects, but 10 people are writing the same piece of code in 10 projects. That's where Java frameworks came into market. So what these frameworks are going to do? Frameworks will provide some common logics which are required for several projects development. I am going to develop a project. I need a database connections. I need a database connection pool. I want to capture form data. I want to send email from my application. I want to perform validations on my data. Such a kind of common logics will be available for every project. Those common logics, if I am writing, that is going to waste my time. That is going to waste your time also. Everybody should write the same logic. To overcome that problem, frameworks came into picture. Framework is a semi-developed software. Why we are calling semi-developed software? Framework will not provide you complete project. Framework will provide you some logics. So using those logics, you complete that project. Framework will provide you some logics. You write the remaining logic, then you complete your project. That's why framework is called as a semi-developed software. Why we are going for the frameworks? Frameworks will provide some common logics required for several projects development. For your project, for my project, for their project, some common logics will be available. Those common logics will be provided by framework. So for your project, some business logic will be there. For my project, some business logic will be there. We need to concentrate on business logic development. Common logics will be provided by frameworks only. So what is the advantage of going for the frameworks, guys? Frameworks will reduce burden on the developers. How can we say frameworks will reduce burden on the developers? 20 lines of code if you are writing by using normal technology, only 5 lines of code you can write by using framework to complete the same task. So you want to insert the record into table. For that, JDBC servlet JSP, 20 lines of code. If I do the same requirement by using Spring, within 5 lines I can complete that. What about the remaining 15 lines? Framework will provide me. Framework will provide some common logics which are required for several projects. The common logics which are providing by the framework are called as reusable components. What is the meaning of reusable components? Some classes and interfaces will be available in the framework. By using those classes and interfaces, we can develop our projects. Got it? Now in the Java community, if you are working as a Java developer, we need to talk about 2 types of frameworks, guys. What are those 2 types of frameworks? One is ORM framework and the second one is a web framework. Now let's try to understand our application. Several times I explained application architecture. Our application will contain presentation logic. Our application contains web logic. Our application will contain business logic. Our application will contain persistence logic and database will be available. Now assume that this is our database to store the data. To communicate with the database, we are going to write the DAO. What is the meaning of DAO? DAO stands for data access object. DAO contains only persistence logic. DAO contains only persistence logic. Here, service layer will be available, which is also called as business layer. I can say here, my business logic will be available. Generating the Excel report, generating the PDF report, sending an email, sending a OTP, such kind of logics will be implemented in the business layer. And here we are going to have controller, which will handle our request and response. As of now, we used servlets, right? We used servlets to develop this web layer. Servlet will take a request. Servlet will process that request. Servlet will send the response to UI. So here user interface will be available. UI is going to talk to the web layer. Web layer will talk to business layer. Business layer will talk to DAO layer. DAO layer will talk to database. Got it? Now, earlier we developed this DAO layer by using JDBC. We used JDBC to develop this DAO layer. That means whatever the logic that is required to communicate with the database, that logic we are writing in the DAO. DAO stands for data access object. To develop this DAO layer, we are using JDBC. If you use JDBC, common lines of code we need to write. Assume that I want to insert, update, delete, retrieve. 5 steps are common. Load the driver, get the connection, create the statement, execute the query, close the connection. So as we are going to write lot of boilerplate code, what people has done is They provided Hibernate framework. Currently, what we are going to use, guys? We are using Hibernate framework. Can I say Hibernate is replacement for JDBC? Can I say Hibernate is replacement for JDBC? No, you can't say that because we are using Hibernate. Hibernate will internally use JDBC. Without JDBC, there is no Hibernate. Are you guys getting my point? So can I say Hibernate is a replacement for JDBC? No, Hibernate is not the replacement for JDBC. Hibernate is a framework which is using JDBC internally. If you go for JDBC, lot of code we need to write. I don't want to do that. That's why I'm going for Hibernate. I will talk to Hibernate classes, Hibernate interfaces. Then the Hibernate framework classes will internally talk to JDBC. So without JDBC, Hibernate can work or Hibernate cannot work. Without JDBC, Hibernate cannot work. Then how can we say Hibernate is a replacement for JDBC? Is it replacement or it is extension? Hibernate is the extension for the JDBC. Hibernate is not the replacement for the JDBC. Earlier, people used to work with JDBC to develop a persistence layer. To overcome the problems of the JDBC, Hibernate came into market. From last 10-15 years in the industry, people are using Hibernate framework to develop persistence layer in the project. Now, Hibernate is called as ORM framework. What is ORM? Object relational mapping. I want to represent my data in the form of object. I want to represent my data in the form of object. So JDBC will represent in the object or JDBC cannot represent in the object? JDBC cannot represent the data in the form of object. JDBC will represent everything as a text format. But I want to represent my data in the form of object. For that, we are going for Hibernate. And remember, by using Hibernate, you can develop only DAO layer in the project. So if I learn the Hibernate, can I develop the entire web application? No. Hibernate will help you to develop only DAO layer. That's it. Hibernate framework we are learning. By using that Hibernate framework, you can develop only DAO layer in the project. Then what about the business layer? What about the web layer? Hibernate don't know. Hibernate is only used for DAO layer development. Earlier we used JDBC to develop the DAO layer. Now instead of using JDBC, we are going to use Hibernate. What this Hibernate will do? Hibernate will internally use this JDBC only. Hibernate is not replacement for JDBC. Hibernate is the extension for the JDBC. Are you guys getting my point? Now, so if you learn Hibernate framework completely, can you develop entire project? No. What you can do by using Hibernate? Hibernate that we can use only to develop DAO layer. What about the web layer? What about the business layer? What about the presentation layer? Hibernate will not support for that. Hibernate is pure ORM framework. It is object relational mapping framework. If you give the data to Hibernate in the form of object, Hibernate will insert into database. Hibernate will retrieve the data from the database, will give in the form of object. Hibernate knows how to communicate with the database. That's it. Hibernate don't know about your web application. Hibernate don't know about your business logic. Only database logic you can develop by using Hibernate. Then to develop web layer, earlier people used servlets. Earlier people used servlets to develop the web layer, capturing the form data, request.get parameter, request dispatcher, servlet config, servlet context, like that. There are several concepts available. Now assume that in my project, 100 forms are available. 100 forms available in my project. I want to capture form data, request.get parameter, request.get parameter. How many places I need to write that code? 100 places I need to write that code. So is there any option directly to capture form data without request.get parameter? No, there is no option available. People realized that this servlet is not providing some logic for us. Everything we have to write on our own. I have one form, 100 fields available. Request that get parameter field 1, request that get parameter field 2, request that get parameter field 100. 100 lines of code only to capture form data. Then those 100 fields I need to set to one object to transfer the data. Lot of code we need to write in the servlets. To overcome that problem, in the market, Struts framework came into picture. To overcome the problems of the servlets, Struts framework came into picture. Can I say Struts is a replacement for servlet? No, no framework is replacement for the existing technology in the Java. Struts will internally use as servlets. Struts will internally use as servlet. By using this Struts framework, you can develop your web layer. That means if you use the Struts framework, you no need to write request that get parameter. Struts will capture the form data, will store into Java object directly. If you submit the form, Struts framework will capture form data, will give in the form of a Java object. So at that time, in the year of 2002 or 2003, this Struts framework came into picture. 6 to 7 years, it ruled in the IT industry. 6 to 7 years, there was huge demand for Struts framework in the market to develop web application. From 2005 to till 2010, whatever the Java projects are developed in the industry are based on the Struts framework. That much demand was there for Struts framework at that time. Why? Because people fed up with servlets. Everything we have to write on our own. We need to capture each and every field. We need to convert the data into Java object. We need to perform the form validation. Instead of we are doing all these things, Struts will do that. If you use the Struts framework, Struts will provide some common logic for you. You develop only your business logic. Struts will provide you common logic. That's why people attracted towards the Struts framework. They used that framework to develop the application. Few years, Struts was king in the market. 2005 to till 2011, 2010, Struts is a super hit in the market. People started developing applications by using Struts. Now, if I use Struts, can I complete entire project? No. Why? Why? Struts is called as web framework. Struts is only used for capturing the form data and send the response to the UI. So take the data from the UI and give the data to the UI. Only that task can be done by using Struts framework. Are you able to follow this? Now, if a Java developer wants to develop a project at that time, if they know only Struts, that is not sufficient. If they know Hibernate, that is not sufficient. They have to learn the two frameworks. They have to learn Struts framework as well as they have to learn Hibernate framework. By using Struts framework, they can develop web layer required for the project. By using Hibernate, they can develop DAO layer in the project. Business layer, it depends upon the project to project. By using Java, exception handling, multi-threading, collections, so many concepts are there. By using them, we are going to develop our business layer. So at that time, people used to develop the Java projects by using Struts and Hibernate. Struts is called as web framework. Hibernate is called as ORM framework. My career started in the IT industry with the Struts and Hibernate only. In 2013, in my first company, I developed a project by using Struts framework and Hibernate framework. Hibernate is used to develop DAO layer. Struts is used to develop web layer. Are you able to follow me? Now, at that time, again, people started thinking, if I want to develop a project, I need to learn the Hibernate framework. Hibernate is developed by one company. If I want to develop the web layer, I need to learn the Struts framework. Struts is developed by another company. This Struts framework developed by a company called Apache. Apache Struts. Apache Tomcat is there, right? So the same company, same organization developed this Struts framework. Hibernate is developed, it is under license of JBoss. It is under license of JBoss, right? So initially that was developed by a different company. Later it acquired by JBoss. Now here I need to learn the Hibernate. It is developed by one company. I need to learn the Struts. It is developed by another company. And we need to establish integration between the Struts and Hibernate. Because by using Struts, project cannot be completed. By using Hibernate, project cannot be completed. We have to use the Struts. We have to use Hibernate. We have to integrate Struts and Hibernate. Then only we can develop the project. Now, people started thinking like this. Why we need to use multiple frameworks? Why can't we use single framework to develop an entire project? Simple example. Earlier, if you want to do some shopping, multiple shops are there, you have to go there. Earlier, 5-6 years back, Sunday outing, you want to do shopping, you want to watch a movie, you want to have a lunch outside. First, you need to go to movie theater, then come back, go to a restaurant, eat the food, then go to shop to purchase some clothes. But today, mall. Why we are going for malls today? Everything is available at one place. But 5-6 years back, 10 years back, 10 years back, if you want to watch a movie, separately you need to go for movie theater. From there again you need to go for restaurant. From there you need to go for shopping, right? Time waste, right? But today everything is available in the shopping mall. Malls are available. Movie theater will be in the top floor. Restaurant will be in the first floor or second floor. Clothes will be available. Groceries will be available. Everything will be available in the single building. What is the advantage? What is the advantage? Time will be saved. If you can get whatever you want, if you can get at one place, that will be easy for us and that will save our time, that will save our money also. That's my point. It will save money or it will not save the money. Right. Time will be saved. Money will not be saved, right? Sorry? Energy will be saved, right? Energy will be saved. Audio not coming now. Mr. Piyush. Right. So now at that time, people used to develop the projects by using Hibernate framework and Struts framework. Hibernate framework, Struts framework, purpose is same or purpose is different? Purpose is different. What is the purpose of a Hibernate framework, guys? Come on. Hibernate framework is used to develop only DAO layer. By using Hibernate framework, we can develop only DAO layer. That means we can develop only persistence layer. Hibernate we can use to develop the logic only to communicate with the database. By using Hibernate, we can't do anything else. Then by using Struts framework, what we can do? By using Struts, can I communicate with the database? Struts don't know what is database. Struts is pure web framework. By using Struts, you can capture the data from the UI and you can send the data to the UI. Instead of developing a servlet, we are going to develop Struts classes. Struts provided some classes to develop the web layer. Struts framework is developed on top of the servlets. Instead of we are writing the servlet, Struts will provide the servlets. We need to use Struts classes so that our project can be completed easily. But people started thinking like this, Array, I need to download the Struts framework. I need to download the Hibernate framework. I need to integrate the Struts and Hibernate to complete the project. Why I need to do all these things? I want one framework to develop entire project. I want one project to develop entire, I want one framework to develop entire project. That's where Spring people applied their criminal thought. People are struggling in the market. Some people are using Struts framework and Hibernate framework to develop the project. They are facing lot of integration issues. Struts we need to download from one website. Hibernate we need to download from one website. We need to integrate Struts with the Hibernate. Struts to 2.x version, Hibernate to 5.x version, Struts to 1.x version, Hibernate to 4.x version. Version compatibility issues are there. Then Spring people identified the gap in the market. People are struggling. Java developers are struggling to develop a project. They are searching for a solution, one framework they want to develop entire project. That's where Spring people developed a framework. By using that framework, we can develop web layer, we can develop business layer, we can develop DAO layer, even we can develop UI also. The complete project, whatever you want, can be developed by using single framework. That framework is called Spring Framework. Are you able to understand my point? So here I'm saying Hibernate is a ORM framework. Hibernate is only used to develop persistence layer. By using struts, we can develop only web layer. If I want to develop a project, web layer is required, persistence layer is required, but there is no framework which will support for both layers development. That's why Spring framework came into picture. Spring is called as application development framework. This Spring framework, first Spring version came into market in the year of 2003. Guys, see, in the year of 2003, Struts came into market in the year of 2001 or 2002. Just 1-2 years gap is there. Just 1 to 2 years gap is there between Struts and Spring. But people did not understand the power of the Spring at that time. So when the Spring framework came into market, first Struts came. Struts came in the year of 2001 from Apache organization. Spring is a different company. Spring framework came into market from a company called Interface 21. That was the name of the company. Nobody knows about that company. Nobody knows about that company. So Spring people came into market in the year of 2003. They told that, boss, we are providing one framework. By using this framework, you can develop everything, right? Other side, Struts framework is available. Simple example, a new company launched a mobile. Are you going to purchase? No. Why? Trust is not there. So other side, Struts framework developed by which company? Apache. People will trust Apache a lot. People trust Apache a lot because Apache provided so many free softwares. Apache Ant, Apache Maven, Apache Hadoop, Apache is very famous in the market. Apache Pig, Apache Hive. There are so many softwares already came into market from the Apache organization. If any software comes from Apache organization, people will purchase directly. People will use that directly because people will believe in the Apache organization. What about this Interface 21? Nobody knows at that time. Nobody knows at that time. People told that, no, we don't trust you. We know Apache very well. We want to develop our project by using Struts framework only. That's why just because of 1 to 2 years gap, Spring framework struggled for 10 years in the market. For Spring framework struggled for 10 years in the market. From 2003 to 2010, nobody focused on the Spring framework. 2001 to 2010, Struts is a super hit in the market because of Apache brand. Because of the Apache brand. Now, Spring people slowly started announcing like this. Boys, if you want to develop your project, you need to use the Struts. You need to use Hibernate. You have to integrate everything. But if you use my framework, you don't need to do any kind of integration. It is one-stop solution for you. Whatever you need to develop a project, everything is available in the Spring framework. Please use the Spring framework. They started begging in the market, but people did not accept that. Why? Nobody knows Interface 21. Everybody knows Apache. Because of that brand, Struts framework survived in the market for almost 10 years. Almost 10 years, Struts framework survived in the market. Then 2008, 2009, slowly revolution started. People started realizing that Spring framework is doing a lot of publicity. Let us see what is the greatness in the Spring framework. Let us see what is the greatness in the Spring framework. Then Spring people told that, boss, Spring is not single framework. Spring is not single framework. Spring framework is collection of frameworks. Spring framework is collection of frameworks. And Spring framework is versatile framework. Spring framework is versatile framework. What they told is, boss, could you please use my framework to develop your project? Then that person told that my project already started by using struts. Half of the logic is already completed by struts. How can I use your framework now? Then Spring told that, boss, don't worry. You no need to change your code. Whatever the code you developed by using struts, keep it. From now, the remaining code you can develop by using Spring. My Spring framework is versatile. That means my Spring framework can be integrated with any other framework available in the market. Half of the project is developed by struts. Half of the logic is developed by Hibernate. You don't need to change that. You keep it. The remaining logic, whatever is pending, that logic you develop by using my Spring framework. My Spring can be integrated with any framework available in the market. Sir, I am using Hibernate to develop the DAO. Okay, no problem, keep it. If you want to develop the web layer, some logic is completed by struts. Don't remove that. Keep it. The remaining logic you develop by using my Spring. So like that, Spring framework announced that I am collection of frameworks. I am not a single framework. Spring framework is a collection of frameworks. We can say module. In the Spring framework, several modules are available. Sir, what is the advantage of the module? Initially, in the Spring 1.x version, they provided 7 modules. In the Spring 1.x version, 7 modules available. So let us see that diagram. Spring 1.x diagram. Spring framework 1.x. Here are the images. Yeah. This is the first version of the Spring framework, guys. Yeah. So this is the Spring architecture. This is the first version of the Spring. Can you read the modules? Spring core module, Spring core module, Spring DAO, Spring context, Spring MVC, Spring web, Spring ORM, Spring AOP, like that. There are 7 modules available. So if you see, is there any relation between one module to another module? There is a relation or there is a gap? There is a gap. That gap represents the modules are loosely coupled. Those modules are loosely coupled. So now, initially what Spring told is, boss, if you want to develop a web layer, you no need to learn the complete Spring framework. If you want to develop the web layer, you just take my WebMVC module. You just take my WebMVC module to develop your web layer. Some logic you developed by struts. No need to remove that. You keep it. Whatever you done by using struts, you keep it. The remaining logic you can develop by using my Spring WebMVC. By using Spring WebMVC module, we can develop web layer in the project. Now here, Spring DAO is available. Whatever the logic you are developing by using JDBC, lot of code you need to write. You no need to write the boilerplate code. I will give you my Spring DAO module. By using Spring DAO, you can develop a DAO layer in the project. By using Spring DAO, you can develop DAO layer in the project. By using WebMVC, you can develop web layer in the project. If you want to develop DAO layer with the Hibernate, lot of code you are writing, configuration, session factory, session transaction. You no need to do all that stuff. You take my Spring ORM. I will give you ready-made classes to develop your persistence layer. Like this, Spring framework came into market with modules. Spring framework came into market with the module. So here in the 1.x version of the Spring, how many modules are available? There are 7 modules are available. For all the modules, the base module is Spring Core. Suppose if you want to learn JDBC, Servlet, JSP, Hibernate, Spring, whatever you want to learn, core Java is the base. Yes or no? Core Java is the base. If you want to learn any Java technology, first you need to be strong in the core Java. Similarly, if you want to use any module in the Spring framework, first you need to learn Spring core module. Spring core module is the base module for the Spring framework. This Spring core module will provide some classes to develop our classes with loosely coupling. As of now, if you want to use one class in the another class, we are creating the object, we are calling the method, or we are extending the properties, we are calling the method. If you go for Spring core module, you no need to create the object, you no need to extend the properties. That Spring core module will provide the objects for you. You no need to create your own object. Spring core module will create the object. Spring core module is mainly used to develop our classes with loosely coupling. Sir, what is loosely coupling? This is not the right time. Slowly we are going to understand how to develop a project with loosely coupling by using Spring core module. For time being, what you need to understand is Spring is one application development framework. To overcome the problems of struts and Hibernate integration, Spring framework came into market. What is the difference between struts and Spring? Struts is only web framework. By using struts framework, we can develop only web layer. What about the Hibernate? By using Hibernate, we can develop only persistence layer, that is a DAO layer. But what about the Spring framework? What about the Spring framework? Come on, man. What is the Spring framework? Spring is called a application development framework. What is the meaning of application development framework? Entire application can be developed by using Spring framework. Your web layer, your business layer, your persistence layer, whatever you need to complete one project end to end application can be developed by using Spring framework. That's why Spring is called as application development framework. When the first version of the Spring came into market, the first version of the Spring came into market in the year of 2003 or 2004. I did not remember correctly. Whether it is 2003 or 2004. Current version of the Spring is 6.x. Current version of the Spring is 6.x version. Very recently, Spring 6.x version came into market. Now, Spring is one framework or Spring is collection of frameworks? Spring is collection of framework. Spring framework designed in the modular fashion. Spring framework designed in the modular fashion. Why they designed in the modular fashion? Everybody is not interested to develop everything by using Spring. I want the Spring only to develop the web layer. Then I no need to use complete Spring framework. I can use only WebMVC module to develop the web layer. I want to develop persistence layer by using Spring framework. For that, I can go for either DAO module or I can go for ORM module. I want to develop my classes with loosely coupling. Then I can go for core module. I want to manage configurations easily. Then I can go for context module. Like that, Spring framework came into market with a modules architecture. Spring people told that our framework is versatile. My framework can be integrated with the servlets. My framework can be integrated with the struts. My framework can be integrated with the Hibernate also. My framework can be integrated with the EJB also. Whatever is there in the Java, my framework can understand. My framework is versatile framework. Are you able to follow this? Now, people started using Spring core module initially. If I want to develop a project, multiple classes I need to develop. One class should call the methods of another class. I need to create the object. I need to extend the properties. Classes are become tightly coupled. Spring core module will make our classes as loosely coupled. Let us use only core module in our project. Struts will be available. Hibernate will be available. Let's use core module of the Spring so that classes will be loosely coupled. Initially, people taken Spring core module and used in the project. Once they started using the core module, they realized the real power of the Spring. Completely, your classes will be loosely coupled. Object creation, everything will be taken care by Spring core module. Module by module, people started using. Initially, they used core module. They understood Spring is having lot of advantages when compared with the struts. Okay, we are using core module with the struts and Hibernate. Let's remove these struts. Let's use the WebMVC module. Like that, they started using module by module. Within 1-2 years of time, Spring Framework, all modules became very famous in the market. Now people are developing entire project by using Spring Framework. So now Struts is available in the market, not available in the market. Not available in the market. Why? People understood power of the Spring. People understood real benefit of the Spring Framework. When they understood real benefit of the Spring, people started removing Struts from the project. They started using Spring Framework. Till today, there is no competitor for Spring Framework in the market. Till even today, there is no competitor for Spring Framework in the Java community. So every project in the industry is developing based on the Spring only because of its advantages. First advantage, Spring Framework is not a single framework. It is developed in the modular fashion. Spring is not forcing to learn all the modules. You no need to learn all the modules of the Spring. Whatever is required, you use only that module. If you want to develop loosely coupled classes, then you take only core module. That's it. You no need to go for other module. If you want to develop a web layer, then you take only WebMVC module. If you want to develop a persistence layer, then you take either DAO or ORM. Right, like this, Spring Framework came into market with the module. Spring 1.x version having 7 modules. Spring Framework is versatile framework. Spring is loosely coupled. What is that? Spring is loosely coupled framework. What is the meaning of loosely coupled framework? It is one module is not dependent on the other module. Every module is independent. Whatever the module is required for you, you take only that module and use in your project. You no need to bother about the remaining module. But today what people are doing? People are using all the modules based on the requirement. Now, in the 1.x version, 7 modules available, but in the Spring 2.x version, we have only 6 modules. In the 1.x version, 7 modules available. In the Spring 2.x version, they made it as 6 modules. What they have done is, this web module, WebMVC module, they combined into single module. Spring Web is available and Spring WebMVC is available. What is the purpose of that? To develop the web layer. To develop the web application, in the 1.x version, we have the web module and WebMVC module. When it comes to Spring 2.x version, let me go to here, images, Spring 2. This is the 2.x version of the Spring. Core AOP, let me copy this image. Yeah, see here. How many modules are available? 5 modules or 6 modules? No, man. Core module is there, na? Here, you see it. How many modules are available? 6. Right. So in the 1.x version, how many modules available? In the 1.x version, there are 7 modules available. In the 1.2 version, how many modules are available? In the 1.2 or in the Spring 1.x, 2.x. In the 2.x version, how many modules are there? 6 modules are available. Core module, AOP, DAO, ORM, JEE, web. Now, in the Spring 3.x version, they introduced 20 plus modules. That was the change happened in the 3.x version. So many modules came into market. This is the architecture of the Spring. 3.x version. Yeah. So this is the architecture of the Spring 3.x and 4.x. Now there are so many modules available in the Spring framework. Core module is available. They divided. They expanded the modules in the Spring framework. Lot of modules introduced in the Spring. Currently, 20 plus modules are available in the Spring framework. That is what I mentioned here. Spring Core is available. Spring JDBC, we can also call it as a Spring DAO, and Spring AOP, Spring Web, Spring DAO, Spring ORM, Spring OXM. Like that, there are several modules available in the Spring framework. JDBC, ORM, OXM, JMS, transactions, WebSocket, servlet, portlet, web, AOP, aspect, messaging, beans, core, context, spell, test. Like that, there are several modules available in the Spring framework. So Spring framework is having lot of demand in the market because by using the Spring framework, we can develop entire project. End-to-end application can be developed by using Spring framework. Now, currently, Spring framework is under license of VMware company, right? Spring framework. If you see the Spring, currently this is developer. Who is that? Pivotal Software, VMware, and Apache is also having the license for that. Now see here, the Spring framework. Now the first version of the Spring came in the market in the year of 2003. First production release in the 2004. What is the current version of the Spring? Current version of the Spring is 6.x version, which released in the year of 2022. Last November, Spring 6.x version came into market. Now, if you see Spring Boot came into market in the year of 2014. Now, who is the author of the Spring? Australian computer specialist who created the Spring framework and founded Spring Source, right? So he served as CEO until its 2009 acquisition by VMware. Now the Spring is under license of which company? VMware. Which company? VMware. Initially it was developed by Interface 21. Now that is acquired by VMware. Now Spring is under license of the VMware. Got it? Good. So Spring is what kind of framework, guys? Application framework. Why they are calling it as application framework? Why it is called as application framework? We can develop entire application by using Spring framework. Now, Spring framework developed in the modular fashion. So initially, how many modules introduced in the Spring? 7 modules introduced. Is it mandatory to learn all the modules? No, modules are loosely coupled. Which module is required for your project? You can take that module and you can use that module, right? When the Spring is having this much demand in the market, then why Spring Boot came into picture, right? What is the Spring Boot? Spring Boot is not a separate framework. Spring Boot is extension for the Spring. In the Spring, if you are generally in the servlets and JSP, if you are writing 20 lines of code, the 20 lines we can reduce to 5 lines in the Spring. Those 5 lines we can reduce to 1 line in the Spring Boot. Are you guys getting my point? If you want to, simple, if you want to store one record into database, I am using servlets plus JSP plus JDBC. So here, if you are writing 20 lines of code, same requirement can be implemented in the 5 lines. If you go for Spring, those 5 lines are reduced to 1 line in the Spring Boot. Now you understand the difference. Why Spring Boot came into picture? Why Spring Boot came into picture? To reduce boilerplate code. To simplify developers' life, Spring Boot came into market. Spring Boot is not the replacement for the Spring, guys. Spring Boot is extension for the Spring framework. Now, if you see, Spring Boot is available currently in the market. This Spring Boot came into market in the year of 2014. This Spring Boot internally uses Spring Framework. Spring Framework internally uses JSE and JEE, right? Spring Boot is available, then Spring is available, JSE and JEE is available. Now, we are going to develop our application by using what? Our application will be developed by using what? Spring Boot. In the real time, people are developing the project by using Spring Boot. Our project will use the classes of Spring Boot. See here, our project will talk to Spring Boot. Then Spring Boot will talk to Spring. Spring will talk to JSE and JEE. So can I say Spring is a replacement for Java? Can I say Spring is replacement for Java? Spring is not replacement for Java. Spring is one Java based framework. Spring framework developed by using Java only. Spring will internally uses JDBC. Spring will internally uses servlets also. By using JSE and JEE, Spring is developed. By using Spring, Spring Boot is developed. Currently, which one is having more demand? Spring Boot is having more demand. We can directly learn the Spring Boot also, but lot of internals we cannot understand if you go for the Spring Boot directly. If I want to insert a record in the database by using Spring Boot, one line of code is sufficient. Sir, how the record is inserting with one line, n number of questions will come. Because Spring Boot will take care of all that logic which is required. So Spring Boot will internally talk to Spring. So what I'm going to do is, first we are going to understand some basics of the Spring framework. What is a Spring? How to create a Spring project? How to run the Spring project? How to use the Spring classes, Spring interfaces. With that knowledge, we are going to learn the Spring Boot. So to develop a project in the real time, this Spring Boot knowledge is mandatory. Every company is using Spring Boot to develop the project. All right. Now let me quickly summarize what we learned as of now related to Spring. Can you guys tell me what is the Spring, guys? Spring is a Java-based application development framework. Application development framework. By using Spring, what we can do? By using Spring, we can develop end-to-end application. Whatever is required for your project, web layer, business layer, persistence layer, everything can be developed by using Spring framework. That's why Spring is called as application development framework. Spring is developed based on JSE and JEE. Spring is developed by using JSE and JEE. Can I say Spring is replacement for servlet? Can I say Spring is replacement for servlet? No, Spring is not replacement for the servlet. Spring is extension for the servlet. Spring is extension for the Java. Spring is internally using Java only. Spring is a Java-based application development framework. By using Spring, we can develop end-to-end application. Spring is developed by using JSE and JEE. Spring framework developed by Rod Johnson. Java developed by James Gosling, right? So that means not one person, there was a team. For that team, James Gosling was the lead. Similarly, Spring team is available. For that team, Rod Johnson was the team lead, right? So people will call James Gosling is the author of the Java. Similarly, Rod Johnson is the author of the Spring framework. Spring framework developed by Rod Johnson. First version of Spring came into market in 2004. 2003, 0.9 version. 1.x version came into market in the year of 2004. That we can call it as Spring 1.x version, right? What is the current version of the Spring? 6.x version. The current version of the Spring The current version of Spring is 6.x version, which released in the year of 2022 November. 2022 November, Spring 6.x version came into market. So now Spring is a single framework or Spring is a collection of frameworks. Spring is developed in modular fashion. Spring is developed in the modular fashion. It is not the single framework, it is collection of framework. Spring is developed in modular fashion. Spring modules are loosely coupled. Spring modules are loosely coupled. What is the meaning of loosely coupled? What is the meaning of loosely coupled? You no need to use all the modules. Spring is not forcing to use all the modules, but everyone is using because of its advantages. Spring is developed in modular fashion. Spring modules are loosely coupled. Which module is required for your project? You take only that module and you use in the project. Spring is versatile framework. What is the meaning of versatility? We will call, right? So when you are watching the news, people will say this hero is versatile actor, heroine is versatile actress. What is the meaning of that? They can play any kind of role, villain, hero, comedian, character artist, like that. They can do several characters in the movies. Such kind of person is called versatile actor. Who is a versatile actor in the Bollywood? Akshay Kumar, Amir Khan, Hrithik Roshan. कौन? In Tollywood, NTR, Allu Arjun, Ram Charan. In Tollywood, Junior NTR. Balaya, Pushpa. Good. Fine. So, yeah, fine, good guys. Spring is versatile framework. What is the meaning of versatile framework? What is the meaning of versatile framework? Spring framework, it can integrate with any other framework. It can integrate with any other framework. That means servlets, struts, Hibernate, whatever the framework is available in the market, our Spring framework can be integrated with that framework. That's why Spring is called as versatile framework. Spring is developed in the modular fashion. There are several modules available. Spring modules are loosely coupled. The current version of the Spring is 6.x version. The first version of the Spring came in the year of 2004. Spring framework developed by Rod Johnson. Spring is developed by using JSE and JEE. By using Spring, we can develop end-to-end application. Spring is a Java-based application development framework. Are you guys clear with my point? Now, can you tell me what is the difference between Hibernate and Spring? Can you tell me what is the difference between Hibernate and Spring? Hibernate is just 1 minute, guys. Yeah, fine. What is the difference between Hibernate and Spring? Come on, speak out. Hibernate is a ORM framework. Can I develop entire project by using Hibernate? No, Hibernate is used only for persistence layer development. You can develop only DAO classes by using Hibernate. What is the difference between struts and Spring? By using struts, we can develop only web layer. So if you want to develop a project, struts required, Hibernate required. We need to integrate struts and Hibernate. Then Spring framework came into picture. What is the advantage of the Spring? Spring is called as application development framework. What is the meaning of application development framework? The entire project can be developed by using Spring framework. Your web layer, your business layer, your persistence layer, everything can be developed by using Spring framework. That's why Spring is called as application development framework. Can I say Spring is replacement for Java? Spring is developed by using Java. Spring developed on top of the Java. Spring framework is internally using JSE and JEE. Spring is extension for the Java, not the replacement for Java. So we are going to use the Spring. Spring will internally uses our Java, JDBC, servlets, and all that stuff. So Spring is extension for the Java, not the replacement for the Java. Now, Spring framework developed by a person called Rod Johnson. In the year of 2003, 0.9 version of the Spring came, but first production version happened in the 2004. That was the Spring 1.x version. What is the current version of the Spring? The current version of the Spring is Spring 6.x version. Last year, that version released into market. Now, Spring is one framework or Spring is collection of modules. Spring is not a single framework. Spring is developed in the modular fashion. There are several modules available in the Spring. Is it mandatory to use all the modules? Is it mandatory to learn all the modules? No. Whichever the module is required for your project, you can take that module and you can learn only that module. Can you tell me the modules available in the Spring 1.x version? Spring Core module, Spring AOP module, Spring DAO, Spring Context, Spring ORM, Spring Web MVC. Once again, Spring Core module, Spring AOP, Spring Context, Spring DAO, Spring ORM, Spring Web MVC. So total how many modules in the 1.x? So total there are 7 modules available in the 1.x version of the Spring. Coming to 2.x version, 6 modules. Web and Web MVC combined into one module. What about the 3.x version? 20 plus modules available. 3, 4, 5, 6, 20 plus modules available in the Spring framework. In all the modules, the base module is the core module. If you want to work with any module in the Spring, first we need to understand core module. We will start our journey with the core module. What is the core? What are the concepts available? The name itself core. That means it is important. That is the base. Without having the knowledge on the core module, you can't understand other modules available in the Spring framework. Are you clear? Yep. Any questions? So can you tell me some advantages of the Spring? First of all, Spring is a application development framework. It is developed in the modular fashion. Those modules are loosely coupled. What is the meaning of loosely coupled? You can use any module which you want. They are not forcing to use all the modules, right? And Spring is versatile. What is the meaning of versatile? Spring framework can be integrated with any other module available in the market. Good, fine. Now here, so we are going to understand overview of what are the modules available and what is the purpose of those modules. Right. Spring core module, then Spring context module, Spring DAO module, Spring ORM module, Spring AOP module, and Spring Web MVC module. Mainly we need to understand the purpose of these modules, right? Then later Spring Data JPA, Spring Cloud, Spring REST, Spring Web MVC is there. Then we can say Spring Data JPA, Spring Cloud, Spring Social, Spring REST. Spring REST is available. Then Spring Data JPA is available. Spring Cloud is available. Then Spring Security is available. Spring Social is available. Spring Social is available. Spring Batch is available. There is no end, guys. Like this, there are several modules available in the Spring framework. Can you read the module? Spring Core module, Spring Context module, Spring DAO, Spring ORM, Spring AOP, Spring Web MVC, Spring REST, Spring Data JPA, Spring Cloud, Spring Security, Spring Social, Spring Batch, etc. Sir, then what about Spring Boot? Now, can you see here, 2006, 2003, the first version of the Spring came into market. Then 2004, first production release. People started using the Spring from 2004. Then for 2 years, they released 2.x version of the Spring. In 2006, Spring 2.0 came. In 2009, 3.0 came. In 2013, Spring 4.x came. In 2017, 5.0 came. 13 to 17, some gap is there. Why the gap is there? They focused on the boot. In 2014, Spring Boot came into market. Now, Spring Boot, current version of the Spring Boot is 3.x version. Very recently, Spring 6.x and Spring Boot 3.x released into market. For them, Java 17 is mandatory. They made that Java 17 mandatory to work with Spring 6.x and Spring Boot 3.x version. Let us see the version history of the Spring Boot. Version history of the Spring Boot. Where is that boot? One second. Yeah, can you see this, guys? Spring Boot 1.0 was released in the April 2014. The current version of the Spring Boot is 3.x version. In 2022, they released that Spring Boot 3.x version. What is this? MVC. So in the Spring also, we are using that MVC. What is this? Struts. Struts is called what kind of framework? Web framework. Spring Batch is a framework. So Spring is a collection of frameworks. Spring integration is available. Spring can be integrated with any other framework available in the market. Spring Boot 1.0, current version of the Spring Boot is 3.x version. Fine, good. So like this, there are several modules available in the Spring framework. Fine. Now, first one is the core module, guys. Spring core module is the base module in the Spring framework. It is going to provide the fundamental concepts of the Spring framework, that is IOC container and dependency injection. Spring core is base module in Spring framework. Spring core is base module in the Spring framework. If anybody wants to learn the Spring, first they have to learn Spring core module. Spring core module is called as base module in the Spring framework. Sir, what we are going to learn in the Spring core? Mainly, we need to learn what is IOC container and what is dependency injection. Guys, it is going to take 1 week of time to understand what is IOC container and what is dependency injection. That is the fundamental concept of the Spring. Without having the knowledge on IOC container and the dependency injection, you can't learn any module in the Spring. The fundamental concept of the Spring that we need to learn, that is IOC container and dependency injection. So which module is providing these fundamental concepts? These fundamental concepts are providing by Spring core module. Spring core module is base module in Spring framework. Spring core providing IOC container and dependency injection. Using IOC and DI, we can develop our classes with loosely coupling. What is the tightly coupling? First, I will show you. I will develop one small project and I will show you what is the tightly coupling. How can we avoid that tightly coupling by using IOC container and dependency injection. If you understand IOC container and dependency injection, learning Spring and Spring Boot is very easy. The first thing is IOC container and dependency injection that we have to understand. Are you guys clear with my point? Yeah. Any questions, anyone? No? All good? Yeah. So from tomorrow, what we are going to start? First, we need to develop a project and we need to understand what is a tightly coupling. Then how to resolve that tightly coupling by using Spring Core module. Clear? Fine. Online people, any questions? Yeah, IOC means inversion of control, correct? Any questions, anyone from online? Core Java will cover in this course. No, man, this course. Core Java is the prerequisite to attend this course. I can't explain Core Java. Prerequisites: Core Java, Advanced Java, Oracle, basics of the ORM. If you know these concepts, then only join for this course. Otherwise, first learn the Core Java, Advanced Java, then come to Spring Boot. Okay. Offline classes are happening. Yes, it is combination of offline and online. How to watch recordings in the mobile app. I will share the recorded video in the app. People who did not download the mobile app, Ashok IT mobile app, you can download. Today night at 9 o'clock, I will send the videos in the mobile app. Class notes and videos, both I will send in the mobile app. You can download. App link is available in the chat box. Sir, I don't know Hibernate. I don't need Hibernate immediately. Hibernate I need after 1 month. Within that 1 month, they can learn. Whoever don't know Hibernate, I'm not going to use the Hibernate from tomorrow itself. Hibernate concepts are required in this session after 1 month of time. Within this 1 month of time, you can learn the basics of the Hibernate. Okay, guys. If anybody don't know servlets also I don't need immediately. After 45 days, I need the servlets. Not right now. Because first we need to concentrate on the Spring Core, Spring Boot, Spring JDBC and all. These concepts are going to take approximately 30 to 40 days of time. After 40 days, I need Hibernate and servlets knowledge to teach you data JPA, web MVC and RESTful services. Got it? Yes, fine. When I will get Advanced Java material, daily wise I have already uploaded in the course. I don't know anything about Spring and JSP, but I know Core Java. Mohan, if you know Core Java, you can attend. JSP not required. Sir, I know only Core Java. Parallelly, you need to learn Advanced Java also. Right. Yeah. Those questions I will answer later point of time. Good, guys. So you will get a message in the mobile app for the recorded video. I will upload that in the app. You can download the app. App link is already shared in the chat box. Thank you, guys. With this, I'm stopping for today. We'll meet in the tomorrow's class. Bye-bye.